What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am Elliott Delp, and today I'm going to be going over my predator hunting setup and what I feel is a good entry-level hunting setup for people that are wanting to get into maybe coyote or hog hunting. Alright, so let's get right into it. It's going to be a good one, and I hope you guys enjoy. So like I said before the intro rolled, we're going to be getting into a kind of entry-level predator hunting setup. I know this is not the most advanced gear, but this is something that people can pick up and in terms of predator hunting, stay on the lower side of things and not get into as an expensive setup, alright? And still be comfortable when they hunt, alright? So before we really do a lot with that, I would like to ask if you guys go hit that subscribe button if you find this video useful, and also hit the like button. They're really close together down there below. Also check out the merch. We have some pretty sweet merch on the channel. It's comfortable, it's lightweight, and it supports the channel and helps me bring you guys more videos. Alright, so let's get right into it. First things first, I would like to talk about rifles. So we have two different rifles here on the table. This one up here is a Diamondback chambered in 6.5 Grendel. Alright, as you can see, right here is the Diamondback. It is 18 inches and it is topped with an ATN X-Sight 4K Pro, and I'll touch on the 4K Pro later, but right now let's just talk about the rifles. Now, these are AR-15 rifles. You don't need AR-15 rifles to predator hunt. It's just, I wouldn't even say it's necessary, it's just more convenient in my opinion. You get really quick follow-up shots with the AR-15. But in terms of calibers, I really like the 6.5 Grendel. Another rifle I have right here is the Diamondback chambered in 5.56. This is the daytime hunting rifle that I use, as you can see by not night vision optic. Alright, and it is in a 5.56. Either of those calibers will work really well for predator hunting or hog hunting or whatever you're going to be doing. If you hunt hogs with either of these, you really want to aim for the head. They're not as big and bulky as like a 308, but they'll do predators tons of damage. It'll tear up a fox or a coyote pretty well with either of these rifles. Okay, so keep that in mind. But like I said, both of these rifles are good for hunting. The calibers are really well for taking the game. If you go into a larger caliber with hunting like foxes, I know that the Grendel and the 5.56 both will destroy a fox. If you're looking to get anything else out of it, like the pelts or anything, like if you do fur hunting, going any bigger than the 5.56 or 6.5 Grendel will just blow the thing up. I watched a 243 completely destroy a fox the other day, and it just went poof. And I was like, holy crap, you know? So you want to stick to the lower calibers. They'll do their job, and they'll do their job well, okay? You don't have to have like an AR-15. A bolt action rifle will do just fine. Like I said before, this is just, a lot of people tend to lean towards the AR-15 for the real quick follow-up shots, and just, I guess it's more of an aesthetic thing for a lot of people too. You don't really need it, but I prefer it. You can get an AR-15 for like 500 bucks, and those 16-inch barrel 5.56 will serve you great. So, but that's going into the rifles, and that's what I prefer. In terms of optics, ATN has been my go-to optic. This is the X-Sight 4K Pro, and I'm really happy with it. It is night vision and not thermal, so this is on the budget side. Thermals tend to run 2,000 plus. This one right here cost me 500 bucks. All right, this is good. I can see really well at 200 yards, and I probably wouldn't take it past 200 yards, just because I don't feel comfortable with it. And like I said, this is my nighttime setup, so this ATN does me really well. To partner with the ATN, I use this Lumen shooter flashlight. Okay. This flashlight does come red, green, white, and infrared. The infrared is what I use with my ATN. Before I picked up the ATN, this is what I used for my red and green. So if you're not wanting to drop super ton of money on an optic to do night vision, you can also do just traditional glass. I used to run a Vortex Crossfire, link will also be in the description down below, and I ran a green light when I was doing pigs and a red light when I was doing predators. And this is the light I used. This is the lumen shooter. Okay, and I was really happy with the light. It did very well. Also had some experience with other Amazon light brands like Windfire. Windfire served me very well. I didn't really go big into the expensive stuff like the Coyote Tactics, I think, have a light, and those name brand $200, $300 lights. It wasn't there for me. This light allows you to adjust your brightness. It allows you to focus your beam. It does everything those expensive lights allow you to do, but it's like $100 compared to the $200-$300. Okay, so that's what I use with mine and what I use for hunting. Okay, so if you do that, you can get a rifle, $500, or you can get a bolt action rifle for like $200-$300. Put a normal scope on it for like $100 total, and then run a red light for another $100, and that's $400 you have in optic, light, and rifle, which is great, right? And that is still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. Still a ton of money. So now let me talk about what is on the 5.56. This is an ACS 1-6 primary arms. This is what I use for my daytime hunting. Alright, this has really cool ranging features in the scope that allow you to range out to multiple yards. And it's only a 1-6 because I don't really feel like it's very necessary to have a super zoomed in rifle scope for coyote hunting. Most of my shots are in 100, 200 yards. And 1-6 does me well. It keeps it lighter weight, not as bulky, easy to maneuver, and that's why I use this on this one. This optic did come in at around $289, and it's a pretty nice low power variable optic in terms of how much it costs, the reticle you get in it, and just the whole overall package. A lot of low power variables are very expensive, and that's a bad thing in my opinion. So this ACS, this primary arms 1-6, was a very nice option, and I really like it a lot. So that's what I use on my daytime setup, and I'm real happy with it. All right, so now since we've talked about rifles and optics, let's move into calls. So I have a very extremely entry-level call. This is the Fox Pro Deadbone. Okay. It allows you to have a bunch of different calls. I think, let's see, there's 15 calls. There's 15 calls, and you can play multiple ones at once. You can extend your thing right here, and it allows you to get pretty far away from this call. I've never been so far away from the call that I can't call the call off. I've never had it run out of batteries on me, and it's been a nice little entry-level call. It is still pretty expensive. It was about $80, and I have a hard time paying that. Luckily, I got that as a gift from some of my friends when I graduated, and I was super happy with it. And this is what I have used. You don't need to go out and buy a $500 call. This Fox Pro Deadbone call will do you just fine. Oh, it won't focus on the calls, but it does everything from coyotes to crows to foxes. Anything you'd really want to get into in your predator hunting, it does it. And it's not super loud, but often you don't need it to be super loud. You don't want to scare anything off, but you also want it to hear it, so that you got to kind of fine tune it. But if you're just getting into it, this Deadbone works great. I've hunted with guys that have like the massive setups, the big $500 setups, and they work awesome. You definitely get what you pay for, but you also have to fork over $500, and not everybody can do that, you know. So the Deadbone by Fox Pro is awesome. Definitely recommend it. For my ranging during the day, I use a Leupold rangefinder. This thing is not necessary, just like the night vision, not necessary, but it's very helpful. This is the XR1300i, and this has a bunch of different features that I won't get into, but it's a very nice rangefinder, and it has served me very well. I mean, it clips right to my waist. I have it all the time, and when I'm coyote hunting during the day, that is what I use. Alright, so that being said, let's move on to the next thing. Next thing is this bog tripod. Now, the tripod thing, you don't need it by any means. You can find you a good spot, set down, set up, and you don't have to worry about anything. But a tripod is useful if you aren't able to find you a nice spot and have to stand. So here, let me drop in my heaviest rifle, because a lot of problems I have with tripods, they won't hold the rifle when it's on the tripod, but this bog does really well. So as you can see, I have now clamped in the bog. I've locked in the up and down, left to right. Alright, so now I can turn it left to right. Let me loosen it a little bit, and I can turn it up and down. So you just hold in on it and pow, you give her a go. Alright, so I really like the bog. There's a bunch of different options for tripods. This option is about $125. They have a more expensive version that's carbon fiber. This thing is pretty heavy, and it's a lot to haul around. But I think it's very well worth it if you're wanting to get something like that. And you buy once, you cry once. So go ahead and get something that's intended to be used as a rifle tripod. A lot of tripods you find on Amazon you might think might work, but they don't work. Just go ahead and buy something that's intended to be used as a rifle tripod. For the longest time, I used a $60 rifle tripod, bought a $20 mount for it, and it does well, but it doesn't do great. Alright, so you need to just go ahead and get something good and not have to worry about it later. If you want to spend a little bit more money, Coyote Tactics has a tripod that I'm pretty familiar with and have used a little bit, and it's a little bit different. It has a ball. It's kind of very similar to a camera tripod. It doesn't have the saddle-like thing where you clamp your gun in. You attach your gun for the Coyote Tactics with an M-lock piece that goes right here, and it'll hold your rifle really steady and really good as well. But it is like $250, a lot more expensive than the bog. And then if you really want to spend some money, you can go out and buy like a hog saddle and their tripods, which are awesome, but they cost a ton of money, and they're very similar to the bogs, right? So it's all about really what you want to spend. But bog, I think, is a very good entry-level tripod if you're just looking to get into it and you're wanting to spend the bare minimum but have a very professional looking setup. Okay, so all in all, I think that about does it for my coyote hunting setup and for my entry-level advice for you guys on what you should get when you're looking to get into coyote hunting. So like I said, for the if you want to go for the whole night vision route, I'm going to give you like a full cost of a whole setup. You can think $500, $600 for your scope, another $500, $600 for your rifle. That's $1,000. Then another $150 for your tripod. So that puts you at, oh gosh, I already can't do math. Say $1,000 for the rifle, $1,100 for the tripod. You got your aftermarket light. The ATN light kind of sucks, so I really recommend an aftermarket light. The lumen shooter does great. That's another $100, so that's $1,200. Another $100 for your call. So that's up to $1,300. You don't need the rangefinder if you can do it other ways. Like I know the ATN, it has range finding capabilities, and also this scope has range finding capabilities. So both of those work well, and you don't really need the rangefinder, but it's just something I recommend. Right? So for about $1,200 to $1,300, you can get into coyote hunting, and you can have a very professional looking setup that looks nice, works well, and does its job. And this is just ditto for pig hunting or any other nighttime hunting you might do. So, yep. Alright guys, so I think that really about does it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys were able to benefit from it. Alright, so if you were able to benefit from it and you were able to learn something from it, go hit the subscribe button and the like button. Both of those would help me a ton get the video out there, and it will help me continue to make videos. Also, go check out the merch down below. Released it a little while ago, but I'm still super excited about it. So go check that out as well. Super comfy stuff. But I think that about does it. Oh, one last thing. Go comment on what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see me do a review on some type of other weapon, or my setup for deer hunting, or just whatever, go comment down below. Let me know what you want to see. Alright? So I appreciate it, guys. That about does it. And as always, take someone outdoors. I will see y'all next time.